oh, okay. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it, but Kvyat has converted to a 2-stop. And has maybe cost himself a podium today. But here we go, Gasly, I'm right behind him, I've caught up to Gasly. Let's go around the outside. His tyres are now very old and my tyres are still in fairly good condition. We go right around the Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. We're back on F1 2020, back with F1 2020 career mode, driving for Scuderia Ferrari, most probably in our final season because both championships are looking all nice and dandy. Guys, heading in towards this episode after a very, very successful home Grand Prix for the team. We took the dub, by the way, I just gave you a spoiler. We took the dub for the second season in a row at our home at the team's home Grand Prix. It was fantastic, sensational battle between myself, Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton, and Valtteri Bottas. Go check out that episode if you haven't checked it out yet, even though I spoiled it. Trust me, it's a must-see. But fantastic episode, and now we head towards one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. You guys know I've got a little bit of a thing for city street circuits. We are heading towards Marina Bay for the Singapore Grand Prix. Now, excuse me if you guys heard that. I don't think you did, but there was a little bit of a burp there. Can it stop? Not the point. I'm heading towards this episode, guys. Obviously, Singapore is a chassis and mainly a downforce circuit track, so we need to be, if we want to really see good results in Singapore, we need to focus on the downforce of the car. We are the best car in the downforce section of the R&D tree, but if I can have a little bit more, it's just going to make me that little bit more comfortable. Remember, season 1 was only a 10-race season, a totally coronavirus-themed season, and now we're doing a full 22-race calendar, and I think next season we will most probably be doing a 16. That's the biggest thing. We'll be doing a 22 again. The 10-race season is just way too short. But yeah, we missed out on the Drivers and the Constructors' Championship by just a little. We actually go for a chassis upgrade, as you guys can see, and I'm now just looking at the championship quickly. You guys can see we are ahead by 90 points ahead of the closest man, which is Bottas for Mercedes. Hamilton is a further 7 points behind Bottas, and Vettel is, I don't think, in this championship anymore. But Vettel needs to start supporting me for the constructors, guys. Because even though the gap to you might look big, even though it looks to you like, 48 points is a lot. What is that? That is about 48 points. No problem what the amount is. But that amount of points, you think like, that's a lot of points. But say, for instance, we have a bad race. Vettel DNFs. Well, me and Vettel both DNF. And Mercedes gets a 1-2. That's 27 for the fastest lap as well. So that's 26 plus 18. So what's that? That's 34. That's 44 points. Then they're basically on our heels. So Vettel needs to start supporting me with the constructors. But the drivers, I think we can be comfortable as long as we keep finishing in the top 6 at least. The only race we had to see that was bad was at the British Grand Prix where we came 11th. We didn't even score a point. But, I mean, before that we had podiums. And the only time we weren't on the podium except for Britain was in Belgium at Spa. We came 4th. So it's still, we have been consistency itself. But looking at the performance chart, we are now the fastest car on the grid overall. But remember, guys, on-track performance and this, there can be a difference. But we're on the lead ahead of Mercedes AMG Petronas Racing. BW2 Racing Point is in P3 with Red Bull P4, Renault P5, Alpha Tauri is in P6 with McLaren P7, Alfa Romeo Racing P8, Haas P9, and Williams are still bringing up the rear end of the field. Now, this has been an absolutely magnifique a track for me in the past. You guys know back on F1 2019 I had a sensational pole here in my second season with Haas, who turned out to win that race in some very tricky conditions. Actually, didn't I have pole in season 1 as well? I can't remember, but Singapore has always been a track that just suits me. I love racing here. It's not just qualifying. The racing here, you have to work so hard for overtakes that it is so satisfying. But it's time for quali. jumping towards the end of our first run in qualifying, guys. You guys can see we waited a little bit to go to the end of our first run, head through the final corner, and you guys can see we come across the line, open up DRS, and wait a minute, we actually take our Vettel.
You're currently in second place.
Thank you, Jeff. We had provisional pole, and then Vettel just comes and ruins the party. Not the point. By the middle part of the session, guys, I actually tried to go out on a set of mediums, and we were quicker, but not by much. If you guys see, we're just under a tenth, actually. We are currently in P5. We come across the line, open up DRS, and that is P4. We go ahead of Bottas, but now I needed to decide, would I rather go for the easier race strategy or miss out on pole position? And I don't know about you guys, but pole position for me is a very scarce occurrence. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. I want a pole position. I'm going to go for pole position. And that is the end all be all. I want pole. I'm going to go onto another set of softs and try and get pole position. So you guys can think, I put a lot of pressure on myself for this final lap in quali.
Checks complete. All personnel be aware we have a car leaving.
Thank you, Jeff. And for those of you guys that are a little bit confused, with the career mode, I don't do the full Q1, Q2, Q3 shootout. I just do one 18 minutes quali session for all the cars. So this is the end all be all. Let's go. We are down to P5 once again. Vettel in P4. Ocon is in P3 actually. And I can tell you guys there was the two Mercedes on P1 and P2. And they still have their laps. No, it actually wasn't. I think it was Ricciardo and Bottas. Bottas was in P1 with Ricciardo P2. So, and the two Mercedes are still having to finish their laps. But we are literally the final car to go for a lap here. So you got to see qualifying is complete. We head down what's this? The section of the track? It's something Boulevard. I can't do the Rattifilio Boulevard. No, not Rattifilio. That's Italian. Not the point. But heading into the second section, you got to see this tight hairpin section through the right-handed hairpin into the sweeping left-hander. Mount the curb, just missed the wall on the outside, and now we run into my favorite section of the track with the Anderson Bridge. To the left, just throw the car in here. To the right, just throw the car once again over the curb. Go as close to the wall as you dare. And now over the Anderson Bridge into this hard braking zone of a hairpin. Beautiful run through the hairpin where Massa nearly ran into the back of someone, but eventually ended up making an overtake. DRS open for this little straight, down to second gear for this very tight right-hander, nearly a hairpin, but not fully. Down this little next section, all the way up into seventh gear, brake very hard for the final, the first of the final three chicanes. Through here, it's very, very quick, goes close to the wall once again as you dare. We are all the way down to P9 now. The track has really rubbed in. It's very, very quickly getting quicker. Through the final chicane, mount the curbs very aggressively, foot down, and now we're towards these final two corners, nearly flat out, but not completely. We head to the line, and it's going to be Prix!
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Parker, Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. Here we go then, it's Formula One in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to all of you at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot, horribly humid, but very beautiful streets of Singapore. It's a 3.1 mile lap here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit with 47% taken at full throttle. It's hot, humid and bumpy around the 13 lefts and the 10 rights of mostly slow corners. But we should see speeds of up to 200 miles per hour along the Raffles Boulevard. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's talk about Parker. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Parker lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Albon, Perez, Gasly, Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Daniel Kvyat, Leclerc, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Magnussen, Verstappen, Raikkonen, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi.
After the podium last race, people are expecting a lot from you this weekend, but it's going to be tough from here.
Guys, we got pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. I am hyped for this. Yes, I'm not on the ideal strategy. It's going to be a forceful two-stop, but we're going to try our best. Let's go aggressive. Let's go for this. Let's see what we can do. Guys, make sure if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet done it, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below and don't forget to ding that bell. And while you're down there, remember to drop a like down below on the video if you love my enthusiasm, because I think I am very entertaining. Not ego, just I've watched my videos before. I think I'm kind of funny sometimes. Not the point, guys. You guys know the drill. Jam with me on the warm-up lap. Oh yeah.
Get down. Get down. Get down. The bass and sound. 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 Down for the bass and sound.
Guys, are you guys ready for the Singapore Grand Prix? From pole position on the grid, a Ferrari front row lockout. 5 red lights and it's go, go, go for the Singapore Grand Prix. Myself and Vettel on the front row, like I said. Heading into the first corner, we get a sensational launch. And there's nothing that Sebastian Vettel can do about it. We have a very aggressive line there through the first corner. But Vettel is backing us up in P2 with Bottas P3. And well done to Carlos Sainz getting that McLaren all the way up in P4. Beautiful qualifying from Carlos Sainz. You've got Ricardo in P5. So it's going to be an absolute slobber knockover race. But remember, 1 stops, 2 stops. There's going to be a lot of racing in this episode because Singapore always delivers the best amount of action. In any case, guys, let's head towards this next part. Let's just watch all the drivers slowly make it through the first lap. Remember, the cars are on heavy fuel. And, oh, wait a minute. Vettel is going for a move. He's going for a move for the lead into the Anderson Bridge section. We just hang it around the outside, but what on earth happened there? Just jump to an onboard into this left-hander. Oh my word, I'm just way too early on the power. I literally got on the power as I bounced my car over the curb, the rear end step, but luckily I can just pinch with Vettel to that inside wall, and that was a heart in my throat kind of moment. But okay, luckily we still maintain the lead, but that is, we need to be careful of those mistakes, because mistakes like that at a track like this, at a track like Singapore, can cost you dearly. But we maintain the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. It is us now, still doing a solid race at this stage, but there's still 31 laps to go. Not the point, but we will end this first lap in the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a Ferrari 1-2, exactly what we need for the Constructors' Championship. If me and Vettel can break away from the rest of the grid, and we can actually finish this race in 1-2, that will be sensational. But we're going to have a bunch of one-stoppers to fight at the end of the race, and hopefully Vettel can follow suit with me and just overtake as much as possible. But Vettel is P2, Valtteri Bottas P3, and that is the end of the first lap with Sainz P4 and Ricardo P5. But now we immediately jump all the way to the end of lap 4, guys. Guys, these softs, you guys saw my strategy in lap 4. I was pitting because these softs are absolute booty to be on, because with heavy fuel and everything taken into consideration, they overheat for nothing. So I'm off of them onto as my first set of mediums, and let's push. I don't care coming out in last place. It's clean air. I can push. I can make use of these new tires and try and chase in, so that when I get my lead back, I've got a solid gap.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
That is the idea, Jeff. Just mind that wall on the inside. Let's not have a league racing incident. If you guys watched the league race while I raced Singapore, I clipped that inside wall and absolutely ruined my race. Not the point. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. We now jump to the end of lap 5, and you guys can see Vettel is already in as well. Vettel is feeling the pain on those soft tires. So Bottas will now take the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, but Sainz and Ricciardo are pitting as well. So it's not just the Ferraris that are hard on their tires. The other drivers are feeling this as well, guys, and it's a very high temperature here this evening in Singapore. Remember, it's humid as well. So just get off them, just get off them. But we now jump on with ourselves to see if we actually gained something. We set the fastest third sector, obviously it's our outlap, but guys, look at the gap that has given me on Vettel. Look at that, I'm going through the third corner, Vettel is only now out of the pit lane. So let's keep an eye on that gap. It's 4.2 seconds. Fresh tires around Singapore is worth gold. Literally, worn tires at this track can cost you more than I think any other track on the F1 game, because tire wear here is an absolute pain in the butt. So new tires in clean air, you are going to be quicker. I don't care even if it's F1, F2, bloody freaking F20, for all I care. Tires, when they drop off at Singapore, they are worth nothing. So Bottas pits with a bunch of other drivers, and Bottas gets held up a bit there by the Alfa Romeo. We are already on the back of Nicholas Latifi in the Williams. Latifi has a very violent swipe there in front of me. He nearly takes off my front wing. Did not appreciate that, so I go for an aggressive dive up the inside before we go down the DRS straight. But that is us now up in position, and Vettel will be next to follow. But we've got the Williams and the Racing Point of Lance Stroll to also worry about ahead of us. Into this next section, you guys can see, just look at the grip advantage, guys. I go quicker through the corners, I brake later. A little bit of a twitch there. I'm going over the Anderson Bridge, but grip is just, it's worth gold here. Look at that, I sail around the outside of Stroll, nothing he can do, and he's not even on softs. He's on a few lap 7, lap 8 old mediums, and that is the grip. The grip advantage here is an advantage just full stop. So we now jump on board with Valtteri Bottas. It is lap 7, so those mediums are 7 laps old. They're not even old. The mediums can do about 12 to 14 laps. If you really stretch them, 14 laps. But look, now guys, look at this. This is the back markers that I told you guys about. We are past Stroll. We're now going for a move on George Russell in the Williams. And Russell is there's nothing he's going to be able to do, guys. Look at that. We just pull to the inside, open up DRS, and we actually go to the outside. We take a very aggressive esports line into the first corner, but we are right around the outside of Russell because grip is king around Singapore. And my teammate Vettel actually also, I think, made a move on the second Williams of Latifi. Let's have a replay here, guys, as Vettel went side by side with Latifi through the first corners there. I'm almost certain I saw these two cars side by side. Vettel also opts for the outside line. But Latifi is very aggressive with Vettel. I think Williams told him, my boy, it's for position, just do what you want. But Vettel is around the outside of Latifi. But guys, look at this. The leader of the race is Pierre Gasly. Pierre freaking Gasly for AlphaTauri, and it doesn't end there. His teammate Danny Kvyat is in P2, also for AlphaTauri. So AlphaTauri is having a good race here. You've got Charles Leclerc in P3 for Haas, Giovinazzi P4 for Alfa Romeo, Magnussen P5 also for Haas, and then it's us in P6. Now these are all the one-stoppers going from mediums to hards. So these are the drivers, if we don't pass them now, we're going to fight them at the end of the race for the race win. So the quicker I can get these moves done, the better. We are right behind K-Mag as we head down the straight with a little kink in it. We go to the inside as Magnussen has a little bit of a move there just before the braking zone, which he is entitled to, but that was a little bit harsh from K-Mag. But we are now up into P5 as Vettel is currently stuck behind Stroll and Russell. So this is just basically, if he stays stuck behind them for too long, that will guarantee me the victory, basically. Well, at least a solid podium, but I'm going for victory, guys. I'm going for gold here. We are now right behind Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. And look at this, guys. I'm almost pushing Giovinazzi down the main straight, and I do to him exactly what I did to Russell. Just pinch him to the inside, go around the outside. Easy move, as we are now behind the second half of Mr. Charles Leclerc, the driver whose seat I stole at Ferrari. But like I said at the end of F1 2019, I was entitled to it, and I would say I'm giving myself a very good pat on the back for the way I'm racing with this car. But Charles is right ahead of us, and he's actually doing wonders at Haas, so well done to Charles. One day he might get back into the Ferrari. We go around the outside of Charles Leclerc. He doesn't leave the door open. He didn't make that easy, but once again, grip is king around Singapore. We are now up back onto the podium as we chase after the two Alpha Tauris. But actually, Kvyat blinks first, and he blinks very early, guys. Does Kvyat maybe have tire problems? Because I think he's converting to a two-stop. And if he's doing that, I might be scratching my head, because this is the one-stop is the better strategy around Singapore, without a shadow of a doubt. He's going on to a second set of mediums, so Kvyat is okay. I don't understand it, I don't want to understand it, but Kvyat has converted to a two-stop and has maybe cost himself a podium today. But here we go, Gasly, I'm right behind him, I've caught up to Gasly. Let's go around the outside. His tyres are now very old and my tyres are still in fairly good condition. We go right around the outside of Pierre Gasly, and now we are into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. And does this always happen to me? As soon as I overtake somebody, whether that is it's a needed overtake, they pit. This is always something that happens to me, especially in races like this. Not the point. Gasly is in. Gasly, if you convert to a two-stop, okay, good. He's going on to the hard, so Gasly is staying on the one stop. Very smart, Gasly, because you can win the race that way, remember? Ooh, yes. If I have a terrible final few laps of the stint, the Gasly can easily jump me on those fresh hards, depending on if he comes out in traffic or not. Let's jump back onto Gasly. Is Gasly actually in traffic? Here's Stroll. You've got Raikkonen and Norris battling. I think Norris started very far back at the grid thanks to a penalty. This is one of the last tracks you want to have a penalty given to you with because you swapped engine components. But still, not all that well that ends well. Guys, here's the back on board with Gasly, and it doesn't look like Gasly has any traffic. So Gasly is in a very good position to actually still get the lead from me. But you guys can see, and let's now quickly run through the top 10. I think this is what we're going to do. I'm not exactly sure. But heading over the Anderson Bridge, you guys can see we are, even though the car, if I'm a little bit too eager on the throw of the car, is tail happy, the car was actually very planted. This is what I want to show. Guys, look at the gap to Sebastian Vettel. We have got something like a 20-second gap, if I'm not mistaken, to Vettel. We are, at this stage, dominating the Singapore Grand Prix. And after the previous run in Italy, where we really, the only reason I think we won the race is because we had the best setup for the wet weather at a high-speed track. But I mean, now I can see that the Ferrari is really on pace. We are absolutely dominating this race. And I mean, look at the two Red Bulls. A track where the Red Bulls are usually very strong. They're sitting, I think, in P7 and P8, just ahead of Ricciardo. Ricciardo has really not had a good middle stint because, I mean, look at, no, that's Ocon. That's Ocon. Hamilton is behind him. Hamilton is in P10, and that is when he's followed by Kvyat and Gasly. But Kvyat obviously pitting again. So, guys, Gasly is not going to overtake me because look how far behind he is. We come into the pit lane. Oh, no, this is Vettel. Sorry, this is Sebastian Vettel. Yes. Vettel. If you go onto the hards, why are you pitting onto the hards? You need to make moves at the end of the race. The mediums will make it to the end easily. Look at light fuel. They aren't so bad. They don't wear so badly. Oh, man. I think Vettel has just cost us a 1-2. I even think Vettel has just cost himself a podium, if I have to be deadly honest. Because, why? And look at it, it's not just Vettel, it's Sainz, Ricciardo, it's even Verstappen. Why? Why do you want to use the slowest compound if you don't have to? We come towards the end of the next lap. I think this is the next lap or 2 laps later. I'm not exactly sure, but it's 1 or 2 laps later, not the end of the world to know which lap it is. We go on to our second set of mediums. Well done for the boys. That was a beautiful stop there from Ferrari. And guys, look at this. Look where Bottas is. He's only going through the final chicane now. Still 2 corners to go before he ends the lap. And we are basically at the end of the pit lane. So we are going to resume in the lead.
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
That is the idea, Jeff. We resume in the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, and now Bottas is pitting. So, guys, I'm baffled to why Vettel went onto the hards, because you need the mediums to make the moves. And the mediums don't overheat in dirty air. The softs are terrible in dirty air, but the mediums, they're okay. They're not too bad. But here we go with Kvyat, and there's not enough. There's too many laps left for Kvyat to go onto the softs. Let me guess. He's going to go onto the hards and just going to absolutely die with pace. Because the hards, even though they last long, they are stupidly slow. And let me guess, hard tyres. Yes, Gasly, Kvyat's going onto the hard tyres. You cost yourself a podium, my mate. You cost yourself a podium. But guys, let's run to the top 10 as this is now, I think, the end of lap 20. I'm not going to try and tell you guys because I'm most probably going to lie to you. Not the point. We start a certain lap and we are still in the lead. But guys, look at the lead that we have. Look at this. Gasly's only going through the final chicane now. And remember, I'm on fresh mediums. I'm extending the gap. I'm on a roll and I'm not pushing. I'm just maintaining my pace. But because the tires are fresh, I just keep extending. Gasly is in P2 for AlphaTauri. That would be a fantastic finish for AlphaTauri. If Charles Leclerc is in P3 for Haas. It is Charles Leclerc in P3 for Haas. Well done, Charles. But look at that, guys. Vettel is right behind Giovinazzi in P4. So Charles might have his heart broken just a teeny weeny bit if Vettel overtakes Giovinazzi, which he should. I don't care if he's on the Haas. Vettel, pull your finger out of your bum. We need this point to have a little bit of a cushion towards Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. Come on, Seb. Come on, Seb. Come on, Seb. There's a reason I chose you as my teammate and not Leclerc. Come on, Seb. 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 Let's go for the move, Seb. No, it's called the dive bomb. Why you don't dive bomb? You're on fresh horse. Do the dive bomb. In any case, P6 is Magnussen, and he is holding up Sainz in P7, Bottas in P8, Ricciardo in P9, and Sergio Perez in P10. I mean, oh man, guys, it can't be that hard to get past him. I mean, it can't be that hard. We now jump on board. I think this is the end of lap 25, guys, and this is now Vettel finally going for the move on Antonio Giovinazzi. To the inside of Gio, Vettel is on the brakes very beautifully there, and Gio is defending this hardly, but obviously it's a P4 for Gio, but the Ferrari just is the quicker car, and it's on quicker tires. Well, not softer, but fresher tires. Oh, look at that. That very juicy move around the outside. Seb, he opens up DRS. Gio, bye-bye. The Seb is into P4. Seb, at least get P3. At least go catch Charles, please. I am begging you. We now jump aboard. I think it's at the end of lap 29, the start of lap 30. So this is the start of the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. And here comes Sebastian Vettel. He's going to the inside. He's forcing Charles onto the outside line. He's got the grip advantage. And that is Vettel back up into the podium positions. There's no way he's catching Gasly. But at least we're going to have a double Ferrari podium. But Vettel, if you went onto mediums, you might have even gotten a P2, you know. Just say it. But guys, we start the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. And I don't like admitting this because I want there to be close quarter, tough, intense racing. But we have dominated this Grand Prix ever since we got back into the lead in our middle stint. Nobody has been able to touch us. Gasly is miles behind me in the AlphaTauri. Vettel is closing him down, but it's too little too late. And we're in a league of our own this weekend. Pole position, fastest lap, and we are going to win the Singapore Grand Prix. What more can you ask for? I mean, obviously, guys, nowadays I simulate practice. There's no need for me to run the practice programs anymore. But I mean, it's the triple sweetie pie. Pole position, race win, and fastest lap. We are in the middle sector already, and guys, look at that. It's a 42.5-second gap to Pierre Gasly. Guys, if this is not dominance, I don't know what is. 42.5 seconds. Holy moly, that is actually insane. That is legitimately insane. I'm speechless. I didn't think that it was going to go this well. But guys, what more is there to say? 42, it's already up to 42.7, almost to 42.8. But guys, we round the final corner for a dominant and triumphant victory here in Singapore!
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
What a great race it's been then. Another classic Singapore Grand Prix, and they've held on to take the checkered flag here today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Parker increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff. All respect to the fans' choice, they fully deserve it. But I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate. So their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference. At least in my opinion.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Guys, what an absolutely sensational Singapore Grand Prix, and I think that is exactly what was needed. I think that was the final nail in the coffin for the Drivers' Championship. Not yet for the Constructors, but if me and Vettel have another performance like this, where Mercedes have an absolute gander, I think it will be the final nail in the coffin for the Constructors. This worked out perfectly, in my opinion, and I honestly tell you guys, I can't be happier. More than a 40-second gap to Gasly and P2, and I've never ever driven a race this dominant. On the F1 game, I've never been in a scenario where I've dominated a race in that manner. Like, I literally did a Hamilton, in 2020? Hamilton 2020. I mean, there was always these races where Hamilton would just bolt away and you would never see the guy again. And also back in like 2014, 2015, those years also. But this felt good. I mean, it feels like now I'm in the perfect position to win the World Championship, and I honestly can't wait. And you guys know my rule: as soon as I win a World Championship with a team, I'll move on to a new one. So there's a lot of possibilities, there's a lot of juicy choices, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm honestly excited to see what happens next season, but we still have to finish the season, and I'm still very, very, very excited to see what happens this season. Guys, tell me in the comments down below, out of 10, how do you rate my performance? Out of 10, do you think it was a good, stellar performance, or do you think they can still be a little bit better? Remember, I'm not esports level. No, I'm joking. But tell me in the comments down below, what do you rate my performance at for this Singapore Grand Prix? But guys, that has been this video. Now, before you just click off of the video, I see you, don't press that back button. You listen to me first. Thank you. Go check out the links in the description down below, guys. Go check out my South African gaming clan, Falcon Gaming, as well as my second YouTube channel, iiTzAssassins Watch Gaming, where we do non-racing content. It's like a more general channel. Then also check me out on social media, give me a follow, and I'll give you a follow back. Also, while you're down there, drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a sweet and nifty 2 seconds, you know. And if you are new to the channel, guys, only 3 subscribers away from 200. Come on, let's get this. Let's get this. So yeah, guys, please, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future awesome episode here on Fox Races. We've got podcasts, we've got F1, we've got F2, we've got Need for Speed, we've got Wreckfest, and I'm also planning a new Gymkhana 3. So, you know, there's a lot to keep your eyes glued to. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. It's been a good one. Let's hope we can keep the momentum going the next round. The next round. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next video. Let's take a long one. Cheers!